having made the individual the lower piece of wood and Om the upper piece of wood, through churning by sustained practice of knowledge, the wise burns the bond of ignorance. This is where we left. So he says, the Om is the upper piece of wood. You, the individual, is the lower piece of the wood. When it is churned, fire is generated. Through churning by sustained practice. First he says it has to be churning. Second is the churning has to be sustained. Sustained means a continuous practice. Sustained means a continuous practice. And how long it has to be sustained, they don't say. Shastras will not talk about that. They only say you keep it sustained. What is that sustained practice? The sustained practice of manana and nididhyasana. Because it is understood in the Upanishadic sense, the person has done Shravana already. He need not talk about Shravana to that person again. So a lot of Shravana has been done already. So sustained practice in manana and nididhyasana. By the sustained practice of manana and nididhyasana, the wise burns the bond of ignorance. And ignorance is called as the bondage. Because ignorance makes you, it is bondage because it makes you to claim that which is not yours. Bondage because it says that which you are not, it makes you to say, I am that. That is bondage. You are not the instruments, but ignorance makes you to say, I am the instruments. So by sustained knowledge, now you have been saying for Janmas that I am the instrument, I am the instrument, I am the instrument. We have been saying this for Janmas. Now, correspondingly, that much of practice has to be done in saying, I am not the instrument. I am not the instrument. So, bondage is claiming that I am the instrument. Knowledge is to say, I am not the instrument. It is not betterment of the instruments. It is not avoiding the problems of the instruments. It is not refining the instruments. It is saying it is non-identifying with the instrument. That is Upanishad. We have to understand that. It is non-identification with the instrument. And what is the instrument? The body, the mind, and intellect is the instrument. The three states are the instrument. So in the Kaivalya, he is going to talk about the association with the three states, identification with the three states. Waking state, dream state, sleep state is going to talk about. How in the waking state, what do you identify with? In the dream state, what do you identify with? In the deep sleep state, what do you identify with? As a result of this identification, you have forgotten your real nature. And you need to keep doing this churning. You have to keep doing this churning constantly. The fire is in the wood, but it has to be brought out by churning. The fire is in the wood, but it just doesn't come like that. It has to be, effort has to be made to bring it out. That effort is what he calls as manana and nididhyasana. For all practical purposes, I am bringing in the word manana also. I am bringing in the word manana. Upanishads talks about whatever Upanishad talks, that practice of Upanishad is only nididhyasana. Even Manana Upanishad will not talk about, but I am bringing it is my addition, that Manana also, to ensure that we don't feel so depressed. Just to ensure that we don't feel so depressed, I am bringing in the word Manana also. Upanishads, for all practical purposes, talks about only nididhyasana. And what is nididhyasana? From wrong identification to right identification. From wrong identification to right identification is the practice of nididhyasana. Rest of the things I already explained. The lower arani, the upper arani, while one moves, the other doesn't. While one moves, the other doesn't move. What is it that moving? What is it that shouldn't move? All that we discussed. Also the combination that fire and fuel are in the same wood. All this we have already, all this we saw. I'm just wanting to talk about the sustained practice of knowledge. So what is knowledge? What is practice of knowledge? I am the self. I am not the instruments. I am the self. I am not the instruments is practice of knowledge. Why the Upanishadic student is able to practice it? Because in Shravana Manana itself, all his doubts are clarified already. All his doubts has been cleared. He has done a lot of Shravana and he has done enough Manana. Because of the Shravana and Manana, all doubts are, there is no more doubts that he has. All that he is longing here for is that experience, that's all. Are able to follow? Shravana is done, Manana is done, the experience is what is lacking, and for that experience, he does something. Whatsoever he does is called practicing knowledge. Why I'm explaining this is because a few misunderstands that studying the textbook itself is class. This is not knowledge. What we are doing now is not. What we are doing is not knowledge. We have to have that clarity first. What we are doing is still Shravana only. We are doing Shravana and we have lot of samshaya in that Shravana and we are trying to overcome those doubts. Nididhyasana is a state where what the intellectual conviction is, experience must happen. Nididhyasana is that. There is an intellectual conviction, but experience must happen because knowledge is complete only when you have experienced. Remember, we have spoken about it any number of times. Shravana clears the I know. I didn't even know that I am the self. Now that you do Shravana, Tattvamasi, you hear, now you know that you are the self. Samshaya comes. You do Manana, lot of reflection you do, and the doubt goes. So you are intellectually convinced that you are the self. But then you know that Anubhava is still lacking. Please understand, you have no more doubts about it. You have no more doubts about it. You are not in the stage of Manana. You have crossed all that. And you are willing to do anything for that experience. That is Nididhyasana. And Upanishad talks about knowledge at the third category. I know it. First stage, I do not know it. So in Shravana, you say, I know it. In fact, you don't say, I know it. I have heard about it, but I don't understand it. Third stage, you say, I have heard it. I have understood about it, but I have no experience. Nididhyasana is to overcome the third stage of ignorance. And how do we know that they are using the third stage of ignorance? Because he says, practice Om. Om. He says, use, practice Om. When the Omkara has been brought in as the practice, when Omkara has been brought in as the practice, it means you have reached the meditative stage, the Nididhyasana stage. That is the indication. He says, having made the Atmana Maranim Kritva Pranavam Cha, since he has brought in the Pranava, Pranava will be brought in only at the stage of Nididhyasana. Pranava mantra would be brought in only at the stage of Nididhyasana. Why? Because Pranava mantra is also called Shabda Brahman. The closest to Brahman is Omkara. The Om is the closest to Brahman. So, when he is referring to Om, it means he is referring to Nididhyasana. When he is referring to Om, it means he is referring to Nididhyasana. Om, we have seen any number of times. A, U, Om is made up of these three sounds. A, U, Why they use Pranava for Nididhyasana? First thing is, when you are sitting for Nididhyasana, you need a mantra, you need a sound syllable, you need a word that will not distract you. If you chant Rama, 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 there is a distraction. If you chant Krishna, 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 the stories of Krishna itself is a distraction. You chant Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, the very Namah Shivaya itself, the stories about Shiva itself is a distraction. In Om, there is no distraction because it doesn't produce any association of ideas. It is called association of ideas. All other mantras produces association. Association means distraction. So in Nididhyasana, first thing, that is why the first reason. There are a few reasons why Om is used. The first reason is it doesn't produce what is known as association of ideas. Second, by the way in which you chant Om, if you are well trained in chanting Om, which itself requires, it's a very specialized training. இப்போ நம்ம கிளாஸ்ல கூட ஓம்னு சொல்ற மாதிரி you don't train for chanting Pranava. It's not the way Pranava is trained to chant. There is a very specific way to chant. There is a very specific method to chant this Pranava. So you start from the stomach, the A. So you pronounce all the three sounds. A, U, and when you practice this chant, what happens is your breathing, the chant, all gets in sync. Before this, you are in need of a japa mala. to meditate. You are in need of an external aid to meditate. Either you use the Japamala, or you use your own fingers. Actually, even today, the traditional Orthodox Brahmins, when they chant, they will not use the mala. They will only use the fingers. Because even the mala is more external, more distracting. So they count through the fingers. Now, even that is stopped when you learn to chant pranava properly. What happens is there is a perfect sync between the breathing and the chanting. And the way Om can bring about the single pointedness. That is why it's called the primordial sound, the fundamental sound, out of which all other sounds come about, is the sound A, U, and It's called Shabda Brahman, because the way in which it can aid focus. Om is not a Sanskrit word. Om is the sound. Om doesn't belong to Sanskrit language. It's not the language of the Sanskrit sound. It's not the Sanskrit language. Basic sound is A, U, and is the basic sound. So that's why it's called the sound of nature. It's called the sound of nature. It is not a particular, the Om doesn't belong to a language. Are you able to follow? And I remember saying in one of the sessions previously, some of the Upanishads does this pranava upasana a lot. They go into a detailed explanation about the pranava. Brihadaranyaka goes into it. Prashna also goes into it. Mandukya also a little bit talks about Om. Kathopanishad, not to talk about Kathopanishad, he talks Om in Kathopanishad also. Why? Because the most natural sound that aids, that keeps you undisturbed focus. That single, what we call as single pointed meditation, which is Nididhyasana. The single pointed meditation, the mantra that can help you is Om. A, U, So when you say A, it has to start from the navel. From the navel. So so the round rolls and ends. It rolls, so you form a matra amatra cycle. So you form the matra amatra cycle, and you are not in need of any external aid. Third is not third, continuity of that. After a while, the very Om, if you are trained, becomes your background. As you are eating, there will be the Om in the background. As you are sleeping, there will be Om in the background. Means you have fairly established in Nididhyasana. It's there constantly. It keeps running constantly. While it is running constantly, it doesn't create any other disturbance. For all other sounds, distracts and disturbs. That is where you find having. That is why they say use Om as the mantra for mantra for churning. All languages you can find these three sounds. So all languages can say Om is ours. It's not doesn't belong to the Sanskrit language. Even though people believe that it is of Sanskrit language, it is the more natural sound. Wherever there is a sound, It can be the birds, it can be any, wherever there is a sound, it will have these three distinctions, a, u and im. It's not im, it is mm. Where both the, where the mouth shuts. Before a, there is no sound. After there is no sound. From the silent comes the om and merges back into the silence. So from the silence, as it were, the sound comes and it goes back into silence. This is how the om is used. Now, in this class, in most of the Upanishadic explanatory classes, they will not talk about the Om that much. They will talk about the Mahavakyas and they will analyze. They will not talk about the Om, the chant, because we just have to say chant Om. That's all. What is there to, we really don't understand much. Therefore, what they do, they go into a lot of explanations, into the lot of elaborate explanations into the statements of into the Mahavakyas. Here he is talking about the Nididhyasana stage. Is it okay? Verse number 11. The Om. Now we move on to verse number mantra 12. Mantras 12 and 13 are read together. Mantras 12 and 13 are read together. So I will read both. Sayeva maya parimohitatma shariramaastaya karoti sarvam Striyannapanadi vichitra bhogaihi sayeva jagrat paritripti meti Swapne sajiva sukadukha bhokta swamayaya kalpita vishwaloke Sushupti kale sakale viline tamobhibhuta sukarupa meti. What is happening in the three stages, the three states of consciousness he is talking. Sayeva maya parimohitatma. He alone, the self abiding in the body, maya parimohita, completely deluded by maya because of identification with the body, shariram, does everything. He does everything. Who does everything? Who does everything? He. Now read the English verse. He alone, and then there is a comma. And then put within the self length by illusion, I can put it within brackets first. He alone does everything. He alone does everything. Who is that he alone? The self. Who is that he alone? The self. Now it is no more the self, because it has identified with the body. The self abiding in the body, because of identification with the body, what happens? Completely deluded by maya. Because of identification with the body, completely deluded by maya, does everything. What does it do? Continuously go through these three states. Does everything. What does it do? Something it does in the waking state, something it does in the dream state, something it does in the deep sleep state. Now what he does in the waking state? He alone in the waking state derives great satisfaction through varied enjoyment of women, food, drink, etc. This is the waking state. I'll explain all that. We'll go through, we'll try to cover all that. verse number 13. First sentence. In the dream state, swapna sajivaha. Yeah. Saeva maya parimohitatmada has come into, now he has Saeva maya parimohitatman garde, he has calling it as jiva now. Swapne sa jivaha. Suddenly he has introduced the word jiva. And now you can't ask what is jiva, you should not ask. Yeah, what is jiva, you should not ask, because all that is, I will explain all that. Upanishadla it is understood. He just introduces word sajivaha. That jiva, what he does, sukha dukkha bhokta swamayaya kalpita vishwaloke. In the dream state, that individual self experiences joy and sorrow in the whole world projected by his own illusion. Swamayaya kalpita. Kalpita vishwaloke swamayaya. Kalpitamna avane undakindadunu artham. Waking state la irukra world he experiences certain things. In the dream state, he himself creates a world. Swamayaya kalpita vishwaloke, and enjoys joy and sorrow. In the deep sleep, sushupti kale. What happens in the deep sleep? Sushupti kale sakale viline. In the period of deep sleep, when everything dissolves, overcome by tamas, ignorance, he attains the state of bliss. Sukarupameti. Beautiful two verses. Very, very beautiful two verses talking about the three states of consciousness. The three states of consciousness is put in very simply. Deep sleep state na sukha rupam avladha. And that sukha rupam out of ignorance. Understand that. He said it very, he says sukha rupam, and that sukha rupam arises out of sushupti kale tamo vibhutaha, and the ignorance nala tamas abhibhutaha. Because of tamo guna there is a sukha. So deep sleep is a state of bliss born of ignorance. Therefore, what is deep sleep state? A blissful state, but ignorance is the cause for that bliss. Okay. What happens in the dream state? Dream state, the jiva projected by his own illusion. He projects. The jiva himself projects. In the waking world, he is experiencing something outside. Varied enjoyments from outside he gets. Please understand, enjoyments here by now we should have been used to this philosophical language. Whenever they talk about enjoyment, word it means sukha and dukkha. This is the classic philosophical way. Nowadays, we have to use the word experiences, experience, we have to say. Because we are more comfortable using the word experience. So whenever they say enjoyment, Upanishadic language means experiences. The individual in the deep sleep, ignorance, in the dream state, Swamayaya kalpita vishwaloke. He creates the world out of his own projection and enjoys. Instead of enjoying, use the word experiences. And what does he experience? Joy and sorrow. This is the dream state. What is the waking state? Striyanna panadi. Striyanna panadi. Striyanna panadi means varied enjoyment of women, food, drink, etc. From this, what do you understand? From this, what do you understand? Waking state na contact born joy and sorrow. Dream state na one's own created joy and sorrow. Deep sleep state na temporarily not having joy and sorrow. Again I repeat. What is waking state? Contact born joy and sorrow. Joy and sorrow da angiyam. What is common to waking state and dream state? Joy and sorrow is common to both. Are you able to follow? Joy and sorrow is common to both the waking state and dream state. And in the waking state, it is contact born. In the dream state, it is one's own imagination. But nevertheless, it is joy and sorrow. And what is deep sleep state? Absence of joy and sorrow. So, appadina, what is Jiva going through? Joy and sorrow, absence of joy and sorrow. Avladha. You will follow how beautiful it is. What is Jiva going through? Joy and sorrow or absence of joy and sorrow. Avladha. To convey it very simply, kada, we need an Upanishad. How can you make it more simpler than this? You can't make it more simpler than this. He alone in the waking state derives great joy from. Hey, what it meant by woman, food, drink is contact born. Because there the sukha and dukkha is through a contact. Contact born enjoyment is waking state. Imaginary enjoyment is contact born experience is waking state. Imaginary experience is dream state. Absence of experience is deep sleep state. What is the experience? The experience of joy and sorrow. Sa eva maya. Atma, Brahman, self, as it were, when it is enclosed within a body. Enclosed within the body means body, mind, and intellect. When it is enclosed in the body, mind, intellect, because of deluded by Maya, it identifies with it. What is it? The pure consciousness, as it were, has turned into conditioned consciousness. The pure consciousness has become the reflected consciousness. Maya splits it, as it were, into two. Maya here means the mind. It splits, as it were. What is it? I am in the house. I am in the house in jnanam vandrutun artham. I am the house in are able to follow are able to understand the distinction. I am in the house. I am in the house of body, mind, and intellect. I am in the house of body, mind, and intellect. I am the house. I am the house in body, mind. I am body, I am mind, I am intellect. Due to what it happens? Due to Maya, ignorance. Sarvam karoti. Karoti sarvam. Shariram astaya karoti sarvam. Abdina the Pirchi Padikmodi, you have to see Sarvam karoti. Does everything. What does it do? What does it do? Nitya karma, Naimittika karma, Nishiddha karma. What all karmas are possible, it does. Yajna karma, enna vena sollunga. So, sarvam karoti. Everything it does. What does the human being do? The human being perceives, act, feel, think. He is the perceiver, he is the actor, he is the feeler, he is the thinker. Perceiver, actor, feeler, thinker, contemplator. You can add that also. So sarvam karoti means perceiver, actor, feeler, thinker, contemplator. He says, I am doing, I am perceiving, I am acting, I am feeling, I am thinking, I am contemplating. This is what he calls as Maya Parimohita Atma. The self is deluded and it assumes that I do everything. Sarvam karoti. You don't do it. You don't do it. It assumes the karta. It assumes that I am the karta. When it assumes this, I am the karta, which means aham karta. அப்படின்றதுல வருதுதான் aham bhava. The aham karta comes aham bhava, ego. Karta, he becomes a doer for what purpose? Bhokta, experiencer. So a human being, enna formula? Karta plus bhokta. A human being is karta plus bhokta, doer plus experiencer. Doer plus enjoying the consequences of experiencing what? A human being equals karta plus bhokta. He is a experiencer. Experiencing what? Experiencing the consequences of his own doing. And what drives the doing? Vasanas. Vasanas is the cause for doing, and the doing makes him to experience the consequences of the doing. In the waking state, it manifests in the gross body level. In the dream state, it happens only at the subtle body level. In the deep sleep state, it's the causal body. In the waking state, it is the gross body. The aham karta, the aham bhava functions through the gross body, and in the waking state, the joy is only through experience, happens only through contact. Waking state experiences happens only by contact. In the dream state, you are not contacting the world. The mind creates its own world. Its own world. He acts and experiences the consequences of his actions. What are the types of actions? The three states: the waking, dream, and deep sleep. In the waking state, perceiver, actor, feeler, thinker, contemplator. In the dream state, sukha and dukkha. In the deep in the deep sleep state, absence of experience. That absence of experience is sukha. That is why he says, covered by, he attains the state of bliss. To tell you that you should not misunderstand it with the bliss of self-realization, he says, overcome by ignorance. And the overcome by ignorance illana, deep sleep would become self-realization. Overcome by ignorance, it would have become the bliss of self-realization. So, So he has carefully said it very clearly. Overcome by tamo vibhutah sukarupam eti. Sarvam, he says sarvam karoti. Stri, Anna, Pana. Stri, Anna, Pana. Three things he is using. Vichitra Bhogaihi Parichitrameti. So he is using three. What are the three? Stri, Anna, Pana. I'm just breaking the Sanskrit words. Stri, Anna, Pana adi enga irukkunaka women, food and drink. Women, wife, Stri na wife. Women. What it means is a relationship, contact with Chaitana, living beings. Food and drink refers to relationship with Achetana. You have two things, objects and beings in Ronla. Objects and beings. Where do we derive this objects and beings? This is classic Upanishad. It will not say objects and beings, it will not say. Sriyanna Pana. Sriyanna Pana is against wife, food, women, food and drink. Pana means drinking. Drinking, not surapana, even ordinary water. What Anna and Pana is referring to contact through objects. Stri refers to contact through beings. In Sanskrit, it is called Chetana and Achetana. Chetana means living beings, Achetana means objects. So, in the waking state, by contacting objects and beings, experiences Sukha and Dukkha. Yeah. Sir, this is already தெரியுமே sir. All this we know. இல்லையா இது already தெரியுமே. What is the source என்றதுக்கு இதெல்லாம் உபநிஷத் அவ்வளவுதான். World is made of objects and beings. Now, where is the source? Now, you can remember Kaivalya. You have the reference in Kaivalya. In the period of deep sleep, waking state pleasure born out of the contact between sense object and sense organ. Waking state. In the dream state, the same joy, the same temporary experience is out of one's own imagination, mind. In the deep sleep state, nothing. Sukarupam, he becomes form of bliss. Sukarupamna, he is no more, understand the difference. He is no more experiencing, he has become that. So in the deep sleep, you become bliss. You become bliss, and that bliss is covered by ignorance. You become bliss, but that bliss is covered by ignorance. It goes through temporary pleasures. And where we have studied about this temporary pleasure, chapter 2, verse number 14. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukadukkadaha agamapayino anityaha tam titikshasva bharata. Agamapayinaha anityaha. The temporary pleasure in the definition, what is temporary pleasure? Where he defines it, it is temporary, he is saying. Where is the definition of temporary pleasure? The definition of what is temporary pleasure comes in the Gita. Very beautifully he says. Agama payinaha anityaha. They come and go, they are impermanent. Endure them bravely. Tam titikshasva bharata. I am not getting into titiksha now. Yeah, I'm not getting into the, for that is not the context here. That is not what we are going to discuss here. But he's saying it's a temporary experience of sukha and dukkha. And what is the nature of temporary? Agamapayinaha anityaha. In the waking state, it happens through sense. In the waking state, it happens through sense contact, sense object, and sense contact. In the dream, one's own imagination. Yeah. Dream வந்து ரெக்கார்ட் ஆனது ரீப்ளே ஆற மாதிரி. வேக்கிங் ஸ்டேட் வந்து ரெக்கார்டிங். ட்ரீம் வந்து ரெக்கார்ட் ஆனது ரீப்ளே. டீப் ஸ்லீப் வந்து டீப் ஸ்லீப்ல ஒன்றும் இல்லை, அவ்வளவுதான். டீப் ஸ்லீப் இஸ் அது என்னது, இது ஸ்லீப்பா? Nothing. Are you able to follow? That's what it is. So here it is experiencing through sense organs and objects. Waking state, dream state is through one's own imagination, because the sense organs are not functioning. The sense organs are not participating in the dream. Are you able to follow? The sense organs are not participating in the dream. In the deep sleep, waking state la sense organs, mind, intellect ella vela seiyirudhu in the waking state. In the dream state, two things switches off as it were in the dream. What are the two things that switches off? Senses. Appuram the other thing that switches off is, what is the other thing that switches off? Buddhi. Correct. Dream la buddhi kadayadu. Intellect also switches off. Only the mind. The sense organs, the buddhi switches off. Only the mind functions in the dream. In the deep sleep, the senses, the mind, the intellect, all switches off. This entity called Jiva, at one point of time in the waking state saying I am the waker, at another point of time in the dreaming state saying I am the dreamer, at another point of time in the deep sleep state saying I am the deep sleeper. It goes through these three cycles. That's what he says. Sarvam karoti. Sarvam karoti na enna? Waking state it does everything. Dream state it does everything. Deep sleep also it does everything. By this Arani, refer to the previous verse. By the churning, you segregate the two. What are the two? What are the two that you are segregating? The doing and the non-doing. Who is the doing? Who is the doer? Jiva. Who is non-doing? Witnesser. The non-doing enlivener witnesser is the Brahman, the Atma, the self. Clear? Why is Jiva continuously traveling these through three states? Because it has to experience Sukha Dukkha. It has to experience Sukha Dukkha. It has to experience Sukha Dukkha. Now, what does it mean? Dukkam Vanda, Sukham Vananu Solra Varika, it will go through all this. I do not want to Dukkha and I want Sukha. Abdin Solra Varikum, the Jiva will go through these three stages. The day where it can say neither Sukha nor Dukkha. Tam titikshasva Bharata. Sukham vandalum titiksha. Purida. Sukham vandalum titiksha. Dukkam vandalum titiksha. All along we think titiksha means Dukkam vanda titiksha. No. Dukkam vandadana sir titiksha. The jiva practices titiksha for sukha and dukkha, saying that I need to disconnect from. I need to disconnect from. I need to disconnect from. Are you able to follow? He practices and he experiences it. Jiva is the experiencer. I have nothing to do with the jiva. Jiva is the experiencer. I have nothing to do with the jiva. I have nothing to do with the jiva and sonnale, next second the jiva disappears. Because jiva can survive only when you say, only jiva can survive only when you identify with it. And the I and the G, it will exist. The moment you say, I am not the jiva, jiva cannot. There is no adhara for jiva after that. There is no support for jiva after that. There is nothing that is holding the jiva after that. Are you able to follow? There is nothing that can hold the jiva after that. Therefore, what happens? That which keeps the jiva going is you saying, I am the jiva. You can say, I am a papatma, I am a papa jiva. You can say, I am the punya jiva. You can say, I am the punyatma. Or you can say, I am the blessed jiva. I am the blessed atma. But nevertheless, you have to identify. Are you able to follow? There are three I's. All are ignorance only. One is, I am sinful. I am papatma jiva. Again, it says, I am punyatma. Third one is, I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed by God so that I'll go to Vaikunta. I am blessed by God so that I'll be in Kailasha. This is neither punyatma nor papatma. This is blessed atma. But all this belongs to the category of jiva. And jiva means necessarily the jiva has to experience the two. What is the two? Jiva means it has to experience. Experience means two. Jiva means it has to experience. Experience means two. There cannot be a jiva experiencing only one. That is why we say there is no such thing as Kailasha or Vaikuntha or heaven where you can have only one experience, because experience means two. And what are the two? Sukha and dukkha. Sukha and dukkha. Only the proportion varies, the longevity varies. But there cannot be a permanent. As long as I am the jiva is there. Are you able to follow? Therefore, the adhara, the support for jiva comes from you associating with it. So, what does it do here? It says the jiva goes through waking, dream, deep sleep states. I have nothing to do with it. When you disassociate, jiva collapses. When you disassociate, jiva collapses. If the jiva is alive, now what does it mean? Now the converse. If the jiva is alive, what does it mean? You are keeping it alive. It means you are keeping it alive. And how are you keeping it alive? How are you keeping the jiva alive? Dukkha nivritti, sukha prapti. How the jiva is kept alive? By these motives. Dukkha nivritti and sukha prapti. So what does the nididhyasana type does? What does Upanishadic students do? Sukham vandalum titiksha. Dukkham vandalum titiksha. Why? Agama payinaha Anityaha. Because he, mantra mari he can remember. Agamapayinaha Nityaha. Agamapayinaha. Now what does it mean? Agamapayinaha naka. They come and go. Yeah. அது ஒழுங்கா தமிழ்ல டிரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ணி சொல்லணும்னா அதுவா வரும் அதுவா போகும். அதுதான் ஆகம பாயினக. It comes by itself and it goes by. அதுவா வரும் சடனா கோவிட் வரும், it will go away, and then everything will seems to be all right, and then something else will come. Agama payinaha. Agama payinaha. Second is anityaha. Two mantras. Mantras 12 and 13 talks about what the jiva does. Jiva is helpless. It is knowledge that makes you get out of this helplessness. Jiva is helpless. It is knowledge that helps you to get out of this helplessness. What is the helplessness of jiva? Body, mind, intellect, waking, dream, deep sleep illama irukka mudiyadhu adala. That is helpless. Are you able to follow? Body, mind, intellect, waking, dream, deep sleep illama adala irukka mudiyadhu. Therefore it is so dependent on it. It is helpless. Jiva. Brahman is free. Why? Because it doesn't need waking, dream, deep sleep state, nor does it need body, mind and intellect. Jiva is helpless, for it is a dependent existence. Brahman is independent. Helplessly bound by the three gunas, jiva, sattva, rajas and tamas. Jiva is helpless, caught up in the three gunas. Brahman is free of the three. Are you able to follow? I'm just giving when we say jiva is helpless, what is it helpless? What is it that makes it helpless? It is dependent on this. It is dependent on this. It needs body, mind, intellect. It needs waking, dream, deep sleep. It needs the jagat, the macrocosm. It needs the three gunas. Idalla irundada jiva can survive. So it is dependent on this. Brahman, your true nature, you are not dependent on any of these. So jiva is bondage, Brahman is free. Jiva is bondage, Brahman is free. Seriya? This is mantras 12 and 13. With this, we conclude for today, and we continue next session going into the mantras.